Screams of fear, followed by chants of free them. This was the city of Shanghai on November 27, 2022. Protesters gathered in the streets as tensions over China's zero-COVID policy reached a tipping point. The movement began in October in Beijing when an unidentified man dropped a protest banner over a busy highway just days before the Communist Party's National Congress. "We need food, not COVID tests. We want freedom, not lockdown. Don't be slaves, be citizens." The man was arrested and disappeared, but his message was seen around the world. Anti-lockdown sentiment was growing among the public. The tensions reached boiling point when 10 people died in a fire at an apartment building in the western region of Xinjiang. The building was locked down, and COVID restrictions also hampered rescue efforts. Within days, vigils for the victims escalated into anger against lockdowns and the man chiefly responsible for them, President Xi Jinping. There were solidarity protests all over the world. Seoul, New York, Toronto, Berlin, Sydney, Tokyo. The Chinese diaspora stood in solidarity with people protesting the CCP.
We don't have democracy, we don't have freedom. So it will take a lot of risk of us to let our voice to be heard, because the government only want their voice to be heard. Only one voice for all of the country.
There were also shows of solidarity in Taiwan, despite the antagonism across the strait.
抗议本身就是一件生而为人的人权，所以不管这件事情发生在世界上的任何一个国家，我觉得我们都有权利站出来替那边的人民说话。
In China, dozens of people were detained during the protests. Others were quietly taken in by police after the demonstrations. Now, 6 months later, some have been released, but the fates of many of the others remain unknown.
The CCP is afraid of anybody who try to think independently, speak up their mind, and by cracking down on them, by imprisoning them, by harassing them, the CCP tries to muzzle their voice.
The rare protests prompted an even rarer outcome. China's government backed down. By December 7th, the years-long COVID lockdown measures abruptly ended. Authorities justified the about-face by declaring victory over the virus, but many were unconvinced, and also unimpressed when a wave of infections quickly engulfed the country, making the sacrifices of ordinary people during the pandemic essentially pointless. As for protesters and dissidents, most remain in prison 6 months after the unrest, their families still searching for answers. But the ripples from the rare protests in China will be felt for years to come. John Su and Herel Hughes for TaiwanPlus.